The secret meeting continued. Mercy knew she was playing with fire, but couldn't bring herself to end it. Madoka's presence is intoxicating, and she found herself increasingly drawn to him. Ideas of rekindling their old love flew her head. One day, Madoka suggested something to Mercy. Mercy, if you want to be with me, we need to find a way to end your marriage. What if, what if something were to happen to Jidena? Many years ago, in the bustling village of Omahia, lived two inseparable friends, Madoka and Mercy. From the moment they could work, they were together, exploring the village, climbing trees and playing by the river. The bond was a thing of envy among the villagers. Madoka is the son of a local farmer, known for its strength and determination. Mercy, on the other hand, was the daughter of a school teacher, known for her beauty and kindness. As they grew, their friendship bloomed into a deep, abiding love. Everyone in the village believed they were destined for each other. On one hot afternoon, Mercy and Madoka sat under their favorite mango tree, its branches heavy with ripe fruit. Mercy, Madoka began, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Mercy nodded her head, thinking deeply. "I want to be a teacher, Madoka. I want to teach children to read and write so that they can have a better future." Madoka nodded, looking impressed. "That's a wonderful dream, Mercy. And I want to be a great businessman, travel the world, and bring back treasure for our village." Mercy googled. "Then you will have to study hard, Madoka. No more daydreaming in class." They both laughed, the sound echoing in the evening air. Years passed, and their friendship evolved into a deep, unspoken love. It was a love that was evident in the small gestures. The way Madoka would save the juiciest mango for Mercy, or how Mercy would mend Madoka's torn shirt with care. They spoke of their dreams more often. One day, as they sat by the stream, watching the water simmer into the fading light, Madoka took Mercy's hand in his. "Mercy, one day I will ask for your hand in marriage. I promise we will build a beautiful life together." Mercy's heart swelled with joy, and tears of happiness welled up in her eyes. "I will wait for that day, my Madoka." She squeezes his hand. "I will wait for you." Their love was like the roots of the ancient trees that surrounded their village, deep, strong, and enduring. But as with all great stories, life soon introduced a twist, one that neither of them could have anticipated. The day started like every other day, with the sun rising over the horizon. Madoka received a news that would change everything. An uncle from the city who had promised him a better life arranged an opportunity for him to travel abroad, a chance to work and earn that could transform his dreams into reality. It was an offer too good to refuse. Torn between his love for Mercy and the promise of a brighter future, Madoka made the difficult decision to leave. "Mercy," he said with his voice filled with emotion, "I have to go. This is our chance. I will earn money and I will return to you. We will have the life we always dreamed of." Mercy's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded, understanding the weight of his decision. "I will wait for you, Madoka," she vowed. "No matter how long it takes, I will wait." With a final embrace, Madoka boarded the bus that could take him to the city. Mercy watched until he was out of sight, holding on to the locket he had given her, a symbol of their unbreakable bond. As the bus disappeared into the air, she said a prayer, hoping that their love would stand the trial of time and distance. As the village carried on with their normal daily activity, but for Mercy, each day felt longer than the last. The place that once brought her so much joy now seemed emptier without Madoka by her side. Yet she remained hopeful. Her heart anchored by the promises they had made under the mango tree and by the stream. Canada was a world unlike anything Madoka had ever imagined. His uncle met him at the airport, a broad smile on his face and arms wide open. "Welcome to Canada, Madoka," his uncle greeted, tapping him on the back as he hugged him. "Your journey begins here." Madoka was quickly immersed in a world of hard work and relentless pace. The job was demanding, but the pay was good, and he threw himself to it with determination, always keeping mercy in his thoughts. He worked long hours, saved every possible money, and sent it back home to his family and Mercy, ensuring she was taken care of. As days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, the initial excitement began to wane, replaced by a persistently worry. Communication became difficult. Madoka's calls were rare, and letters took weeks to arrive. Madoka wrote to Mercy whenever he could, pouring his heart into every word. Madoka's letters were her lifeline. She would read them over and over again, taking each word as if it were a precious gift. Yet, each letter also carried a note of longing, a promise that he would return to her as soon as he could. As the letters from Madoka became less frequent, the time between them stretching longer and longer. Mercy tried to remain hopeful, but doubt began to creep in like a shadow. Had something happened to him? Is he alright? These questions haunted her. Despite the growing uncertainty, Mercy refused to give up hope. She continued to reject all the advances of suitors, some of whom were well-respected and prosperous men. Her parents grew increasingly concerned, urging her to move on. But Mercy's heart remained steadfast. She had made a promise to Madoka, and she intended to keep it. One evening, Mercy received a letter that filled her with a mixture of hope and fear. It has been almost 8 months since the last one came. Her hands trembled as she tore open the envelope. "Dearest Mercy," the letter began. "I hope this finds you well. I am working hard, saving every penny so that I can return to you. The days are long and the work is tough, but thoughts of you keep me going. I miss you more than any words can explain, and I promise I will come back for you. Please wait for me a little longer. With all my love, Madoka." Tears streamed down Mercy's face as she read his words. The letter rekindled her hope, and for a while it seemed to give her the strength she needed to continue waiting. But as the months turned into years, the letter stopped coming. 3 years had passed since Madoka left, and Mercy's once bright hope had dimmed. The villagers continued to gossip behind her back, wondering why such a beautiful and capable young woman remained single. Her friends had married, started families, and moved on with their lives. Mercy, on the other hand, seemed stuck, unable to move forward, yet unwilling to let go. The pressure from her family grew more intense. Her father, a kind man, would often sit her down and speak to her gently but firmly. Mercy, my dear, you are not getting any younger. We love Madoka, but we must think about your future. You cannot wait forever. Her mother, though more understanding of Mercy's feeling, also worried. Mercy, my daughter, what if he does not come back? You deserve to be happy. Jena is a good man and he's very serious about you. Jena is the suitor who had come into Mercy's life after Madoka left. He was indeed a kind and hard-working man. He was a man of integrity, respected in the village for his hard work and generosity. He had always admired Mercy from afar, but respected her relationship with Madoka. When it became clear that Madoka was not coming back anytime soon, Jena decided to take a chance. He had persistently yet respectful in his pursuit of Mercy. He brought gifts, not just for her, but for all her family as well. He would often stop by to help her father with repairs and bring her mother fresh produce from his farm. Despite her initial reluctancy, Mercy could not ignore Jena's kindness and sincerity. He was patient with her, understanding the depth of her feeling for Madoka. He never pressured her, but his quiet presence and unwavering support were like a balm to her aching heart. One evening, as they sat under the mango tree, Jena spoke softly. Mercy, I know you love Madoka. I see it in your eyes. But I also know that he had not returned for years and you deserve to be happy. I promise to take care of you, to make you happy. All I ask is that you give me a chance. And please, no pressure. If you feel you're not ready to be in a relationship with me, there is no problem. I will respect your decision and stop coming here. Mercy looked at Jena, her heart heavy with indecision. She thought about Madoka, about the promises they have made, and the dream they had shared. But she also thought about the present, about the life she was living now, and the future that seemed so uncertain. And also considering her age, she's not getting younger. After so many sleepless nights and tearful prayer, Mercy made the hardest decision of her life. She accepted Jena's proposal. It was not an easy choice, but she hoped that in time her heart will heal and she could love Jena. So, Jena approached Mercy's father. They sat on a wooden chair outside the house. Papa Mercy, Jena began. I have come to speak with you about something very important. Mercy's father, a man of few words but deep thought, nodded for him to continue. I have admired Mercy for a long time. She's a remarkable woman, strong and kind. I know she had been waiting for Madoka, but it has been years and there is no sign of his return. I would like to ask for your daughter's permission to court her with the hope of marriage. Mercy's father nodded. Jena, you are a good man, and any father would be proud to have you as a son-in-law. Have you spoke to Mercy before coming to me? Yes, Jena replied him. We have talked and discussed about it. Okay, Mercy's father replied to him. He called out to Mercy to come out. Mercy, my daughter, he began gently. You know that I want the very best for you. Madoka has been gone for 5 good years now, and we have not heard from him in 3 years out of 5. Now, Jidena here had come to me with a proposal. He wishes to marry you. We all love Madoka and we hoped he would return. But life have to go on and you deserve to be happy. Remember, you are not getting any more younger. And finally, I have a serious question for you. Jidena said you two have discussed about this. Please, my daughter, before you say yes, have you think about this? Are you sure you want to marry Jidena? If you say you want to wait for Madoka, my hands are off this marriage. I need you to think very well before you answer. Papa, I have thought about it very well. I will marry him. I will marry Jidena, she said. I appreciate your kindness and your patience. I will marry you. I will try to build a future with you. Jidena's face light up with relief and joy. He took her hands in his, promising to cherish and protect her for as long as he lived. The wedding was a grand wedding filled with music, dancing and celebration. The entire village turned out to celebrate, their faces lit with joy and approval. Mercy looked beautiful in her traditional attire as she exchanged vows with Jidena. She felt a sense of confusion. She was letting go of a dream, a love that had defined her life for so long. But she was also embracing a new future, one filled with the promise of stability and care. Jidena proved to be a loving and devoted husband. He treated Mercy with respect and kindness, working hard to provide for their household. Mercy, in turn, tried to be a good wife, pouring her efforts into their love and community. 2 years into her marriage with Jidena, Mercy was beginning to find peace. But the unimaginable happened. One hot afternoon, as she was returning from the market, she heard a commotion near the village square. Curious to know what was going on, she made her way through the crowd. Getting close, she saw Madoka. The villagers surrounded him and welcoming him back. She wanted to run to him, but she was stopped at the spot, her heart and mind at war. She was no longer the girl he had left behind. She is now a married woman with responsibility and loyalty that bound her with another man. Madoka sighted her immediately and walked up to her. Mercy, I am so sorry. I tried to come back sooner, but things were difficult. I never stopped thinking about you. Interesting. Why didn't you write to me in more than 3 years? Why didn't you call? Do you know how hard it has been? I tried, Mercy, believe me, I tried. But everything went wrong. I lost my job and my savings were stolen. I was stranded without a way to contact you. But I never gave up. I always knew I would come back for you. Well, Madoka, breaking news. Look at my finger. I am a married woman now. You left for over 5 years. And I hope you were not expecting me not to marry, considering my age. Mercy angrily left him. Madoka's unexpected return had thrown Mercy's life into chaos as she tried to focus on her duties as a wife. But Madoka's presence was a constant distraction. Despite her resolve to stay loyal to Jidena, Mercy found herself drawn to Madoka because of his constant pestering from him to meet up with her. One evening, unable to resist any longer, Mercy agreed to meet Madoka in secret. They chose a hidden spot by the old mango tree. Mercy, Madoka began. I know I made a mistake, and I know I hurt you by not coming back sooner, but I never stopped loving you. Please, give us another chance. Leave Jidena and come be with me. We can start afresh, away from here. Mercy's heart raced as she listened to his words. She felt torn between her loyalty to Jidena, who had been nothing but kind and loving, and the deep unresolved feeling she still had for Madoka. Madoka is not that simple. Jidena is a good man, and I owe him my royalty. I cannot leave him. Madoka reached out and took her hands. His touch sending shivers down Mercy's spine. Mercy, I know it is difficult, but think about us. Think about the future we have always had and planned. I am rich now, Mercy. I have made money for myself now. I can provide for you. We can build the life we always dreamed of. Mercy weakened as she looked into Madoka's eyes. The intensity of his feelings were overwhelming, and for a moment she allowed herself to imagine what it would be like to be with him again. But reality soon crashed her down on her, and she pulled her hands away. I need time to think, she said. This is not a decision I can make lightly. But the secret meeting continued. Mercy knew she was playing with fire, but couldn't bring herself to end it. Madoka's presence is intoxicating, and she found herself increasingly drawn to him. The idea of rekindling their old love filled her head. One day, Madoka suggested something to Mercy. Mercy, if you want to be with me, we need to find a way to end your marriage. What if something were to happen to Jidena? Something that would free you from obligations. Mercy's eyes widened in shock. Madoka, what are you saying? Are you alright? Wait, are you suggesting? No. Madoka interrupted her immediately. I am not suggesting we harm him directly. But what if there is a way, like an accident? Something that made it look like he died naturally. Mercy felt a mix of horror and intrigued at the suggestion. The idea of being free to be with Madoka was tempting, but the thought of causing harm to Jidena, who had been nothing but kind to her. I can't do that, Madoka. Jidena doesn't deserve to be hurt. Madoka sighed, looking frustrated. I understand, Mercy, but think about it. If there was a way to make it look like an accident, no one would suspect anything. We could be together, and you wouldn't have to feel guilty. The seed of the idea planted itself in Mercy's mind. Despite her best efforts to dismiss it, over the few days, it grew. She began to entertain the thoughts of how she could make it look like an accident. After so much internal struggle, Mercy finally decided to act. She rationalized that it could be a clean break, freeing her from a life she didn't want without causing direct harm to Jidena. She planned choosing a night when Jidena could be working late on the farm. She would set fire on the house, making it look like a tragic accident. She convinced herself that it was the only way to be with Madoka, the love of her life. The plan filled with great fear, but also a strange sense of excitement and anticipation filled Mercy's mind. The night of the fire, Mercy moved through the house with a heavy heart. She set everything perfectly and waited for Jidena to return. When he finally did, exhausted from a long day of work, She pretended to be asleep. As he settled in for the night, Mercy waited until she was sure he was deeply asleep before she sneaked out of bed. She lit the kitchen and the curtains in the parlor, watching as the frame began to grow. She panicked at first, but forced herself to stay calm. She had to make it look believable. As the fire spread, she sneaked out of the house. From a safe distance, she watched as the flame consumed the house. The sight was both horrifying and terrifying. She waited, expecting to hear Jidena's cries for help, but there was nothing like that. The whole place was just silent, filled with flames. She felt guilty, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the future she could have with Madoka. The next morning, the village awoke to the news of the fire. The house was totally burnt down. The villagers gathered to console Mercy, who played a very perfect role of a grieving widow. She wept and mourned and sobbed to perfection. Jidena was presumed dead, and the village elders gathered to discuss the tragic accident. Mercy felt a sense of relief, believing she was finally free to be with Madoka. But as she made her way to the spot where they had agreed to meet, she felt unease. When she arrived, Madoka was already there waiting. His expression was not what she had expected. He looked troubled, his face pale and drawn. "Mercy, what have you done?" he asked. "I did it so we could be together." Madoka shook his head, looking horrified. "Mercy, this is not what I wanted though. This was not the plan now. See, Mercy, if you have the heart of stone, like if you can do this kind of thing to Jidena, your husband, what will stop you from doing something similar to me if things goes wrong? Ah, I can't risk my life, oh. I can't be with you. I am sorry." Mercy felt her world crumble around her. The man she had risked everything for was now rejecting her, leaving her to face the consequences of her actions alone. She was devastated, her quiet and sorrow overwhelming her. With Madoka gone and Jidena presumed dead, she was left to suffer the consequences of what she has done. The guilt consumed her, making it impossible to find peace. She confided in her best friend, Ijoma, hoping to get some comfort. Ijoma listened. She was so shocked upon hearing the confession. "Mercy, ha, you are wicked though. But you need to confess. You cannot carry this burden alone. You need to tell the elders what you have done." Mercy knew Ijoma was right. She couldn't live with the guilt any longer. She has been tormented every night. She called a meeting of the village elders. As she stood before them, she confessed everything: her affair with Madoka, her plans to leave Jidena, and the fire she had set to free herself. The elders listened in stunned silence. Their faces were full of shock and disappointment. When she finished, one of the elders spoke to her. "Mercy, what you did is a grave sin. You have taken an innocent life and betrayed the trust of the community." As the elders deliberated on her punishment, a figure emerged from the shadow. It was Jidena, alive and unharmed. The shock on Mercy's face were mirrored by the elders. Jidena explained how he had overheard her conversation with Madoka and had taken precautions to protect himself. "I knew something was wrong," he said, "so I made sure I was not in the house that night. I waited till you sneaked out and I sneaked out too." I wanted you to come clean. That is why I never come out all this while to tell the whole world that I am alive. I wanted you to come clean and make things right. But now I am happy the truth is finally out. The village elders decided on a severe punishment for Mercy. Thank God, Jena is alive. Now you will have to face the consequences of your actions. Mercy was ostracized from the community. Her actions condemned by all. She would have to leave Umuahia, carrying the weight of her guilt and shame. Mercy nodded, tears streamed down her face. I am so sorry, Jidena. I never meant for things to end this way. As she walked away from the village, she reflected on the lesson she had learned. True love is not about possession or selfish desire. It's about trust, respect, and making choices that honor those you care about. Mercy's choice had led to tragedy, but she hoped in time she could find a way to be alone and rebuild her life. African Folk Tales by Mona. I hope you learned something today. Please share with your loved ones and don't forget to subscribe, like. Thank you so much. We are sending a special hug to Kate Lee Brown 4426 and Andrea Jackson 1006 from Jamaica. Thanks for you guys' lovely comments and thanks for the support. If you enjoyed the story, kindly comment on the comment section what you think about the story. And don't forget to drop your location so that we're going to send you a special hug on our next story. Bye and God bless you.